I want to come today and I want to talk about some of the biases and the way that things have been moving, what I'm seeing, because I've been spending my day just strolling through the internet streets, scrolling along and absorbing what I'm seeing out there and really trying to grasp everyone's perspective. I've also been catching a lot of heat in the comments because people don't watch the full videos. Don't worry, it's cool. I will make sure that I break these things down into smaller videos so that they can be digested. Now, one of the things that I never said, and I'm going to address this first because it was the last comment that I responded to, was that people feel like the defense is not supposed to do their job and prosecution should just run amok in the court. That's not what I said, sweetheart, and that's not what I'm insinuating. However, in the transcripts themselves, the reason that the defense has asked for mistrials in the past has been because they assumed that there was going to be something said rather than letting that something be said and going for a mistrial. Case in point, Kid Cudi, when the prosecution was asking him, and I believe it was AUSA Johnson that was on his direct, was asking him why he feared Sean Diddy Combs. Before he could even answer, there was an objection. And at the sidebar, Agnifilo and Alexandra Shapiro, went to the sidebar and they stood there and they pleaded their arguments out. They had an issue with the way that the questions were being asked, when in all actuality, the defense is the one who brought the whole fingerprint cards and all of that into play with their last line of questioning with Kid Cudi. Okay? When they told him, oh, by the way, did you know that it was female DNA that was found? So when they started asking questions on the direct from AUSA Johnson, has this happened before in your 15 years of being an investigator? Was it someone that was a part of your team? They assumed, oh, sorry, I stand corrected. It was Brian Steele that was on the cross. Brian Steele assumed that because of what she was asking, that it was going to be implied that he was going to say, because Diddy has unalived other people. The judge himself said, but he didn't say that. The AUSA even explained why that line of questioning was being asked. Because if you are an arson investigator and you've worked for 15 years and you're telling me that you just recently found out that a case that you handled back in 2012, that the fingerprint cards were destroyed and you were the lead on that investigation and nobody on your team destroyed those cards, who destroyed the cards? Someone from the LAPD. Is this normal practice? What they said was, it was implying, I think I'm mixing it up. That was one. And then the other one was that it was implying that Diddy, I'm mixing them up because that's this mistrial that they asked for. See, they've asked for so many mistrials. Let me get my facts right. Back it up, 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 back it up. Brian Steele called for a mistrial because of the prejudice that would have put on the jury had Kid Cudi said that Diddy unalived other people. The judge denied it because it wasn't even said. It wasn't even implied, but that's where they went with it. At this point in time, are y'all following me? That's one mistrial. The second time they went for a mistrial was when Investigator Jimenez was giving his testimony about the vehicle with the Molotov cocktail. And they said that they were going for a motion for prosecutorial misconduct then because they thought that she was walking him down a way to say that Diddy had influence on the LAPD. But that's not where that line of questioning was going. So that's two times that they have assumed that there was going to be something said. In my eyes, if you're assuming that that's going to be said, and that's going to be a mistrial, I don't know. My thought process as a person who is not a person who is a lawyer, okay? The only reason why the scales of justice are behind me is because we are talking about a court case, okay? But I am not a lawyer. But at the end of the day, here comes another one. And mind you, they're bringing up the Lance Jimenez thing again. And that was already something that was dismissed. In the end, none of us are able to figure out what's going to happen tomorrow when it comes down to Judge Arun making his decision. Arun, I think it's Judge Arun, making his decision as to whether or not he's going to deem this a mistrial. But everybody is out here doing all kinds of things, making up all kinds of accusations. But one of the biggest things that I see going on is while people are out here saying, stop being biased, they're being biased themselves. I sat here and listened to somebody who was a staple head in hip hop for decades. Okay. This person has been reporting, especially here in New York. Exactly, Shawnee. Even if it is a mistrial, Diddy is going to sit until he gets another court date. He's not coming home. A mistrial does not mean that the trial is over. It means that they're going to have to start all over. People in the comments saying, stop being biased, yet you hold a bias yourself. People in the media holding a bias. People in entertainment news holding a bias while telling people not to have a bias. I feel like everybody, whether you're team Free Diddy or your team Keep Diddy, whichever side of the fence that you are on, I feel like everybody has a bias. There's no getting around that. This is a difficult case for a lot of people to be able to palate, for a lot of people to be able to fathom, because at the end of the day, oh yeah, Jihad is good, y'all. Jihad is good. Don't X him out. But you can get rid of Joel Brown though. Bye, Joel. Regardless to where you stand on things, that's where you stand. Me personally, I'm gonna give you what I see from my perspective. And I'm going to tell you what I see and what I hear in court. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, a lot of what's out here is not what you're hearing and seeing in court. If I were to go through these transcripts that I do have and start reading them, you're going to see that there's a lot of things that are being twisted and misconstrued. You're going to see that a lot of people have twisted things to make it fit what they needed to fit. Yesterday, I brought up the fact that, thank you, Jihad. Yesterday, I brought up the fact that there is a very significant issue that is going on in this case. Whether people want to recognize it or not, they want to say, oh, Brianna's lying. Oh, Cassie lied. Oh, listen, Cassie, Brianna, Diddy, and anybody that was around them around that time, everybody was getting high on a very massive level. There were a lot of heavy substances that were being taken around that time. Diddy doesn't even remember some of the stuff that has gone on. How do I know that? Because in Mia's testimony, she talked about the text messages, and they showed us a text message of Diddy messaging her, trying to get in touch with her, saying that she was his right hand and that he had a lot of people around him and he doesn't remember stuff. Not realizing that Mia was going through her own alleged trauma of her own. So here you have this man reaching out to somebody else who was his assistant for years to try to remember for himself. But yet here we are bashing one another because at the end of the day, you feel Diddy is innocent and this person feels Diddy is guilty. They don't even know the facts of the story. So how the hell we know the facts of the story? None of us are sitting up there on that jury neither. So our thoughts and opinions are just that, thoughts and opinions that'll be thrown around on the internet. But what I don't like is when y'all start coming for people's intellect, like as if people are not smart, as if people aren't putting things together. I'm telling y'all, when I'm telling people about the 35 predicate offenses of a RICO, I'm telling y'all that to show y'all where the government is coming from. I have not said Diddy's guilty. I haven't said that not one time. I have also not said that Diddy is innocent. What I have said is there's some real nasty shit that's been going on. That's fucked up and foul. Yes, I have. But here's the thing that people are not looking at. Are you not looking at the fact that everybody involved, everybody, let me say that again. Everybody involved has a certain level of accountability that they all have to take. I said that yesterday. But see, there's a difference between accountability that's going to appease the public, which really doesn't affect us. That accountability isn't going to do nothing for us. Because if you feel that he's guilty, even if he takes accountability and stands up and says, you know what, stop this trial, I'm going to plead guilty, I did this. People still going to find a reason to talk. People still going to find issue with it. If these women, which they have, sat up here and they have taken some level of accountability for being there, for dealing with it. But when they're asked why you did it, the reason why they did it is not good enough. But who are we to sit up here and say what is a valid reason and what's not a valid reason for somebody staying? Was money involved? Absolutely, money was involved. I said this yesterday. I'm going to say it again today. If you had a billionaire, for the females on here, you got a billionaire, you got a multimillionaire that's on the Fortune 500, he got a Fortune 500 company, and he's on the Forbes list. And this man is paying you just a speck of attention. Your ass is going. Your ass is going into that life. I don't care what you say. And I don't even care if you consider yourself to be one of these high-valued women out here. You're going. If it's a Fortune 500 company owner and this woman is on Forbes list for being one of the wealthiest women and she's interested in y'all, I'm talking to the men now, she's interested in y'all going. And once you get caught up in being a part of this person's world and all of that, yeah, there's a level of accountability. When it first happened, you should have left. I could say that all day long, but guess what? I'm somebody that didn't leave the first time that I went through what I went through, but that has nothing to do with this case. I even broke down Dr. Dawn Hughes' testimony yesterday in that long video that I did. This is a forensic psychologist that's telling you, that's speaking to the psychological impact that certain behaviors, patterns of behaviors have with people. But yet and still, that's not valid enough. So now my question becomes, what do y'all want from these women and these men? Because nobody's talking about the men that got up here and testified against him. Nobody's bashing, what's his name? Derek Ferguson, the former CFO of Combs Enterprise, a man who, hold on. A man who holds a seat on the board of Diddy's private charter schools as we speak, who sat up in that court. And when they asked him, do you think highly of Mr. Combs? He said, I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer that. After a long pause, nobody's dogging him out. Nobody's dogging out George Kaplan, who was the former assistant, who sat up here and testified to all of this stuff. Nobody's dogging him out. Nobody's dogging out Daniel James, the other assistant that got up on the stand and testified and said what he said. Nobody's dogging him out, but everybody's coming for the women. Why is that? Even the women are coming for the women. So again, what I'm saying to you is there is a bias that is happening regardless. So people cannot ask people to not be biased while they're being biased. Nobody's talking about the escort that got up on the stand and testified to the fact that he saw Diddy put hands on Cassie. Nobody's dragging him through the mud and calling him a little sex worker when technically he was a little sex worker. Nobody's coming for the Punisher, who's out here on a press run, and he was a little sex worker as well. I'm just pointing out the bias, y'all. That's all. I'm just pointing out the biases. I could agree with that, Swaggerlo. There's a lot of things that women get away with and that men get away with that the opposite sex couldn't get away with. I'm talking about all of them, Dior, because guess what? There's a woman right now going through something, and that dude probably ain't even got a 9 to 5, and she's sitting up in the same similar situation as them chicks who've been getting up on the stand. Let me ask y'all something. Let me ask you something. If you're around people and all of these people are condoning what's going on around you, don't you just fall in line with it being okay? For example, do they though, Dior? Cassie is the only one that we hear of that walked away with 20 M's from Diddy for what she went through while with him. And nobody's talking about that. Everybody wants to talk about how she ain't go through this and Cassie ain't go through that and Cassie's sitting up there lying and Brianna's sitting up there lying. But everybody's skipping over the fact that Cassie got hit off within 24 hours of her dropping her lawsuit. And we still don't have that tell-all book yet. Nobody's talking about or pointing out the fact that Diddy reached out to Brianna to try to settle her lawsuit when she first filed it. Nobody's talking about that, though. Nobody's talking about that. But everybody running with these narratives trying to tear down the testimony instead of sitting and listening to what's being told to you. What happened? So somebody explain to me why he trying to settle these cases if these women lying like this. Do I need to pull the transcript for y'all? Brianna said, what was his name? I want to say Rod Holiday. Whatever the name is, Holiday. I can't think of the name right now off the top of my head. Holiday. Standing in Diddy backyard, calling her, speaking on behalf of Diddy, wanting to settle her case. Mia. D-Rock is hitting her up. Diddy is hitting her up. D-Rock is offering her money. Why is this money coming along into play with these people who are now sitting here saying this is what I went through? Nobody's laser focusing on every aspect of this case. They just focusing on one side. Why we ain't talking about how we ain't heard from the security? Why is Roger Bonds getting clicks, likes, and views all over the internet, and he was there? His name keep being mentioned over and over and over again. But he could get up on Vlad, he could get up on Cam Capone or wherever it was that he went and say, oh, When that stuff was going down, I wasn't around. I would be in New York or I would be over here. Nah, homie, you was there because you gave interviews a couple years ago when you was talking about being there during the incident when Cassie got her face stomped in the back of the Escalade, and you had to take her to the hotel, and she showed you the bruises on her body. You already gave us that story in an interview. Why is he not on the stand? Why ain't nobody down in the comment section dragging him? Nah, I ain't related to her. And I'm speaking from what we see going on right now, stuff that y'all can see for yourselves. This is what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, stay on topic, please. Either way it goes, genius. At the end of the day, my personal opinion, it doesn't even matter in this situation because his life is going to be judged by 12 people who are supposed to be a jury of his peers. Them people are going to make the decision as to whether or not Diddy gets to walk out of the court or not. The judge is going to make a decision as to whether or not situations are going to fly the way they want the situations to fly. The defense is absolutely doing what the defense is supposed to do. I've been telling y'all that. The defense's job is to discredit all the witnesses, discredit them, poke holes in their story, make them look like a liar. How many women and men are on the jury? There's 8 men and 4 women. So this is a majority male jury. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like Diddy's going to get off. Y'all can come for me if y'all want to. Y'all could, Henny, I can't believe you just said that. I want y'all to look at what's going on this internet. The men have taken a stance with Diddy. A majority of men have taken a stance with Diddy. We are living in a world post Kevin Samuels. What I am going to tell you about the prosecution is the prosecution's case is a little all over the place for me. And I was having a conversation last night with Uda, and I was telling him this. I said, listen, I feel like if the prosecution would have came out, introduced what their case was about, brought Dr. Dawn Hughes on to testify, then brought Cassie on, then brought Jane on, I think it would have hit differently. If they would have brought Dr. Dawn Hughes out to come out to speak about working in hostile environments, under pressure, forced labor, all that other stuff, if she would have came to speak to the psychological aspects of that, and then brought out the assistants, including Mia, that would have hit different. Or if they would have started with all the tech stuff, tell us about the videos. Tell us what we're seeing. Tell us about how you extracted those text messages and all of that stuff. Tell us that. If they would have put it on that way, then we would be all right. But instead, we're getting this here and that there and that there. All the people that were backing up Cassie's testimony that could attest to that time frame that the government is looking at, it was a bit scattered. And then you had experts dropped in between, agents dropped in between to talk about what it was that they actually confiscated when they went and raided Two-Star Island and when they raided the Manhattan hotel room that he was in. So we're getting stuff all over the place, and you really got to process everything that's coming out. You got people that love Westmoreland and Brian Steele. So they are already defense fans. They're fans of the defense team. People love Brian Steele because Brian Steele got Thugger off. So in their eyes, Brian Steele can do no wrong. They're not even listening to the testimony. They're not watching and paying attention to what's going on. They just care that it's Brian Steele. People like Westmoreland, so people are paying attention to the way that she does her thing. And I'm going to tell you, Brian Steele and Nicole Westmoreland, those are the beasts from what I see on that team. Agnifilo, Shapiro, them two, they bring the spicy. They bring the spicy. Then you got some people that are on the side of the prosecution. But here's the thing, regardless to who you like, regardless to what side you on, you got to listen to both sides. You got to listen to both sides and then analyze that. I could tell you from sitting down there in that overflow room who is really for what side and who's not. There's people that when the prosecution is doing their thing, they writing almost every damn thing down. When the defense get up there to do their thing, they barely writing because they're not interested in what the defense is saying. Then you got some people, when the prosecution is up there, they taking a few notes. But when the defense comes, they writing all the notes down. And then you have those people who sit in the middle and who are writing. No matter which side it is, they writing. And a lot of people will come and give you from the perspective of who they're writing, which side they're writing from. Because if you're writing only from the defense side is always going to show you their perspective of how they're poking holes in the story. If you're writing from the prosecution side only, you're only going to talk about the prosecution side and bring those points home. But when you're writing from both sides, that's when you get that little like, damn, all right, I got to sit in it, process this. Have y'all not noticed that the past couple videos that I did, I've been telling y'all, like, I'm trying to process what I'm giving y'all the testimony, because the testimony is the testimony. No matter what you say, it's what they said. But I'm really trying to process everything from all sides. Then when I come on here, I give y'all perspectives from all sides. I told y'all last night that I feel like with Jane, because of who she was connected to, I feel like there's a possibility that Diddy was getting some get back through her. You should never have gone laying up with your with anybody that doesn't get along with your peoples. And you went into this knowing they don't get along with your peoples. Does that mean that mental manipulation, physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, any of the stuff that she's saying happened to her, that she's alleging happened to her? Am I saying that she deserved any of that stuff? No, I'm not. These are just things that I'm thinking in my head, like, damn, girl, why would you go and deal with this dude knowing that there's smoke there? And then you're going to tell him what she probably already knew, which is why he was probably eyeing you when your girlfriend brought you to the house and he saw who you was. He was probably eyeing you from then and plotting to get a get back. Now, let's not act like that's not a possibility. Let's not act like that's not a possibility, because it is. And the thing about all of this is, we never heard any rumors about Diddy and Cassie having physical altercations back then. We didn't even know Diddy was getting high. Unless you was in the industry, you ain't know none of this stuff. So to the general public, we didn't know this. She probably linked up with him for a get back too. But that get back was a motherfucker when the get back got back on her. Because now you sitting in court. Now you sitting in court. And this man done stomped all over your brain. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm saying that because that's real rap right there. Her case don't sound like Cassie's case, but I do hear the similarities. And what I'm looking at when I'm in court is, this is what the government is going for. Are they showing me this? Because as y'all saw last night, there was a dude up in here that kept saying, oh, Rico, this and that and the third and none of the da. But then I started telling him, no, there's 35 predicate offenses, and all you got to do is be found guilty of 2. And it don't have to be 20 people for it to be a criminal organization. It could be 2 people. As long as they are on one sound accord, that they are moving in the best interest of the criminal enterprise, that's it. And what they're doing is they're putting KK and D-Rock and Uncle Paulie and Ruben and Roger Bonds. All these assistants have immunity because the assistants would be co-conspirators. The assistants would be co-conspirators. They're being given immunity. Cassie would be a co-conspirator if this was happening. Listen, y'all don't. I told y'all from the jump when y'all was like, oh, why is it only one person on the RICO? I told y'all from the jump. I said they either got plea agreements or they have immunity. What happens? They get up in court and people are testifying to getting immunity. You got people coming up there. Brianna asked for immunity because she was selling drugs. The security guard dude planned to plead the 5th unless they gave him immunity. And that's the dude that was bribed with the $100,000 for the security tape. Yeah. Diddy wanted that security tape. It's like we're not looking at everybody want to hone in on, oh, she lied about that. Oh, she lying about that. Oh, I don't believe that. And she didn't, and she didn't, and she didn't. But what about the he that got on that stand? What about looking at all of the things that happened? This is why I'm able to say what I'm able to say to y'all, because I'm listening to what is being testified to up there on the stand, but I'm also listening to the defense. And I'm listening to what the defense is defending and what they're poking holes in and what they're not poking holes in. I'm listening to the fact that they got up there and played a mind game on Brianna the first day. Westmoreland got that girl in a chokehold. She had her in a chokehold because Westmoreland was using the play on words. And that girl ain't looked like she was right that day sitting up on that stand. Brianna said, Tyrone Blackburn, yeah, that was my lawyer. Yeah, he wrote that complaint. He wrote that demand letter. He lied in that demand letter. I didn't know that he had lied in the demand letter at first. And when I found out, I fired him. She said he lied in the demand letter. You know what Westmoreland did? Got up there and said to her, now you said that Tyrone Blackburn was your lawyer, and that demand letter was a lie. She said, yeah. Not realizing you just said yeah to the whole thing. I know what you thought she said, but you didn't hear what she really said. What you thought she said, or what she was implying, was that what Blackburn said in your lawsuit was a lie. But what she got you to say was that the whole thing was a lie. And once she saw she could play on her words like that, she kept playing on them words. And I just kept sitting there like, girl, you get screwed. Bad witness. Brianna was a bad witness. I can sit here and say that. But when Diddy got that demand letter, Diddy made that phone call happen to try to settle that case. That's the part that sits with me. That's the part that nobody is saying. He tried to settle it. Why are you trying to settle it? So now that makes a person like me that's looking at the whole situation say, well, there's got to be some truth to it. Again, at that point in time, everybody is getting high. That video of Diddy beating on Cassie is horrific. It's disgusting. It's deplorable. But guess what? They just finished doing a freak off. What have we learned about freak offs? That they be zooted out their mind on all types of things, on E, on Molly, on ketamine, on coke, on they just be zooted. You know what that tells me? When he gets high and something don't go the way he like it or it rubs him the wrong way, he get violent. He get violent. He didn't want Brianna and Cassie chilling together. This is the story nobody's telling y'all. He didn't want Brianna and Cassie chilling together because Brianna and Cassie were getting high together. And something had to have happened to Cassie one time while they was high together because Diddy was telling Brianna, if that's your friend and y'all gonna get high, you supposed to have her back. That was real whack. Something happened while they was getting high. Diddy ain't want her getting high with her no more. So now he come up in the crib and you out on the balcony and you blazing one on the balcony after I said I don't want you here? Yaga. I can see it. Based off of what I've already seen. Based off of knowing how much drugs you were doing back then according to testimony. Knowing that you did have some type of issue because of the apology video that you did. Something happened, but all of y'all too high to keep up with what exactly happened. Hey, Miss Jackie. Y'all are really disrespectful. I have no idea what anybody is saying in here. Cassie got $20 million and she was messing with men without Diddy. She wasn't messing with men. She was having relationships. And there's a difference. Thank you for the super chat, Ruby Reds. She said, happy Sunday. Have you seen Ray J's Crash Out video? No, I did not, sweetheart. I did not see it. But now you want to talk about she got $20 million, but there was other men. But are we going to talk about why she got that $20 million? How she get that $20 million so quickly? Are we going to talk about all of it? Are we going to talk about all of it? Or are we just going to hone in on the parts that feel palatable to me because they're buzzwords and trending topics? Or are we going to talk about all of it? Let me answer that question since your question got removed, but I seen it. Let me say this to you. I don't have to be that rich while I'm sitting in court watching what's happening and listening to what's going on. I don't have to be that rich to understand when somebody's telling me what happened and what was going on. All I'm saying is our opinions ain't helping. And it's causing a lot of division within people. Now, understand this. I really don't give a damn about whose stance is what. If I rock with them, I rock with them. We don't have to always agree. Just like some of y'all may not agree with me. I don't have no personal grudge. Listen, none of us hold a personal stake in any of this. If Diddy go to jail or come home, it don't affect our lives. It really don't. And that's disgusting, honestly. Tell them don't talk that money shit to you, Henny. Stop being humble. You got a lot of rich friends that got your back. It's cool. It's cool. I've learned to like let certain shit fly and slide. Like I already know when I get to talking like this, a lot of people don't want to hear it. Some people will, some people won't. Welcome to the bar. How do you say it? Anda? Did I say that right? Let me know if I said that right. And some of y'all sitting in this chat, popping it the way y'all popping it, wouldn't even be allowed to wipe the dust off of his shoe. But y'all going so hard. Okay, good. I'm glad. Y'all going so hard and y'all don't even have all the facts. Y'all getting y'all information off of everywhere else, but y'all ain't right there. And a lot of y'all are getting information from people who ain't right there neither. People that's sitting back and they reading the tweets that are going in. Shout out to Inner City Press. They do their thing over there, but you're not getting the full testimony. You're not in there watching the body language. You aren't in the courtroom to actually see that Diddy really was mugging the freaking jury. You weren't in there to see that Diddy was rapidly tapping his fingers on his thigh with his legs crossed, or to watch every time he shifted in his seat and gave a stone cold face. Y'all ain't in there to see that. Thank you, Starla. I appreciate you. I'm in there watching it. Y'all ain't in there to see when the defense is going up against one of these people on the witness stand and the body language or the way they might catch them off. Y'all not watching that, and that stuff means something. It means something. But that's okay. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm not mad at y'all. But understand, I'm in that courtroom. Understand, I'm watching. I'm taking my notes. And when I get the transcripts, I'm reading the transcripts. I try to make my notes as close as possible to what's actually going down in the courtroom. So that way, when I'm reading my notes to you and I get the transcripts and I want to say, oh, remember when I said, and I go to my horizontal live and I throw that transcript up on the screen and I say, remember I told y'all such and such and such and such. It's right here in the transcript. This is what was said. Yo, y'all are off the rails in here. Y'all are off the rails in here. Like Frederick, you're highly disrespectful. Happy Sunday, Afro Curls. Y'all crazy as hell. Y'all crazy as hell. And guess what? When I end this live, I go on with my life. Y'all still be on the internet in somebody else's chat, running down on them. Go figure. She was not effing for no 15. You know what? Now, Frederick, why don't you take some time off? Why don't you take some time off? How about that? Deuces. That I'm not going to deal with. That I'm not going to deal with. I'm so confused right now. Henny says continue. I am going to continue. That just caught me off guard. I'm like, what? Anyway, Freddie is gone. Hello from the other side. Because now what he's going to be doing is he's going to be over there typing and we ain't going to see it. Oh, how did you get back in here? How did you get back in here? Bye, Freddie. Bye, Freddie. Bye, Freddie. Bye. You keep it up, you're gonna be hello from the other side. All right. I still feel they were all willing participants for money, and he was a rich crackhead doing crackhead-ish, but he's going to jail per the law. I don't want him to, but it is what it is. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Henny, your commentary is intelligent, thoughtful, and nuanced. These people are crazy. Listen, at the end of the day, the thing that I'm more looking at is what I want to know is what happens to hip hop now? What happens to hip hop now? Because with all of this division that's happening right now, I feel like hip hop's being torn down. How does hip hop come back from this when one of our standing pioneers, the entrepreneur that made it from out the mud, what happened? Who's next? Who's next? Because Diddy ain't the last. And if Diddy get out, he better go to Bali with Russell. That's what he need to do. Go to Bali. Sorry, I keep saying Bali. Go to Bali with Russell. Shout you out. Run me a cash app. Y'all ain't hit my cash app. $ Jupiter Juju 8. Mods, run that cash app up in the chat. Y'all want to be in here popping ish and talking ish and all that other stuff? Drop some cash apps in my cash app for this commentary. I've been on here for 46 minutes talking to y'all. Drop me some cash. You want a shout out? Drop me a cash app. The rabbit hole is only going to get deeper, Henny. I know, Swagger. I know. Thank you, Gold Digger. Do you feel that they have a criminal defense on crime? Criminal defense. Criminal offense. I don't know what you're asking me, Deborah. One thing at a time. Russell and Bali waiting for some company. Okay. Man, listen. Thank you for the 100 sticker. Man, listen. At the end of the day, we as people have to learn. Oh, thank you, Miss Jackie, for the super chat. We as people have to learn to not let things divide us, because we are so easily divided. We will have a difference of opinion and not know how to have a difference of opinion, but still move along. No, it means war. People out here really fighting and going at it with each other, smacking each other down there at the damn courthouse and stuff because they have a difference of opinion. We're grown. We're grown. But I just feel like if we gonna call out one bias, let's call out all the bias. What I'm going to continue to do is give you both sides of the story, and I'm going to give you everything. I'm not going to give you one side to make one side look better than the other. This whole case is jacked up. I don't know what the defense is going to come in and do, because pretty soon the government is going to rest and the defense is going to start calling their witnesses. I don't know who the defense is calling. I don't know how the defense is going to, undo some of the stuff that's been done or what's up next for that. But at the end of the day, hey, Lucy, at the end of the day, the trial ain't even over. We still don't have all the facts. We've got to hear all the facts first, people. You know what I'm going to say? Free hip hop. How about that? Free hip hop. Because hip hop is in a chokehold right now. Free hip hop. Period. Anyway, you feel me, Lucille? Free hip hop. Thank you so much for the super chat. Mishana, keep up the intelligent and thoughtful commentary. Thank you so much. I will. Yes, free hip hop, Tony. If you can't understand that and that went over your head, I can't help you. People don't understand how court cases and trials actually go. You can't make an informed decision on anything until you have all of the information. And that's what the jury is doing. They can't deem him guilty or innocent right now. We haven't heard everything. We haven't heard all the witnesses. We haven't heard all the government witnesses. We haven't heard all the defense witnesses. Once you've heard all of the testimony, then you can sit and start balancing things out and weighing things out on that scale of justice like, okay. But remember this. He only needs 2 out of those 35 predicate offenses for the RICO. And right now, a lot of people see that transportation to engage in prostitution is there. The sex trafficking, moving them prostitutes around state to state and out the country is there. Now, I told y'all from the beginning, my prediction was he may not get all of it, but he gonna get something. And who knows? Maybe the jury will come back and find him not guilty. Who knows? If he get a hung jury, Who knows? He already looking at the jury. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know how this is gonna go. People could be in here saying he going to jail for life. He gonna get life and then be upset. You see what I'm saying? We don't know because we're not even there. We're halfway there. Week 4 just ended. We enter into week 5 on Monday, but we've already gone through a month. And let me tell y'all something. In 1 month, we have had, what is it, 27, 28 different witnesses? Hold on, you guys. Nah, that ain't the book. Hold on. I got it. I got it written down. Where the hell is my book? I have it written down because I wanted to know how many we had gone through already. Hold on. I can't find my damn notebook. Damn, because I was trying to tell y'all everybody that was in the everybody that had already, oh, there it is. I got it. Hold on. Let me tell y'all everybody that we've already had. Okay. Starting from the top. All right. From the top. We got Israel Flores, the hotel security guard. Daniel Phillips, the escort. Oh, I was calling him the assistant. Anyway, the escort. Cassie Ventura, the ex-girlfriend. Yasin Benda, which is the agent. Dawn Richard, former artist. Kerry Morgan, Cassie's ex-best friend. David James, that's who it was. David James, the former assistant. Regina Ventura, Cassie's mom. Sheree Hayes, the Punisher, the escort. Gerard Gannon, the agent, one of the agents. Dr. Dawn Hughes, a forensic psychologist. George Kaplan, former assistant. Scott Muscuddy, Cassie's ex. Mila Morales, Cassie's friend and makeup artist. Joshua Croft, an agent. Capricorn Clark, former assistant. Chris Ignacio, LAPD. Lance Jimenez, LAFD, arson investigator. Deontay Nash, Cassie's friend and stylist. Mia, Cassie's friend and former assistant to Diddy. Sylvia Oken, Beverly Hills Hilton, director of marketing and sales. Eddie Garcia, security at the Intercontinental Hotel. Derek Ferguson, former CFO of Bad Boy. Frank Piazza, a forensics audio and visual expert. Brianna Bangola, Cassie's friend, the girl with the balcony incident. Enrique Santos, data extraction expert. And now we have Jane, Diddy's girlfriend from 2001 to current. 27 witnesses have gotten up here and testified. And each time that there's a new witness, I add. And these are just the government's witnesses. 27. Thank you, Jamie, for the super sticker. Y'all didn't even realize we've had 27 witnesses already. 27 witnesses in a month. In a month. That's a lot. And we still ain't done. We got a whole nother month to go. At the end of this, I wouldn't be surprised if we've listened to about 50, 60 different people. This is a lot of testimony to take in. Yeah, it's a lot. But anyway, you guys, I know you can't believe it's been a month and you can't believe it's been 27 people. That's a lot. But anyway, you guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank y'all so much for the super chats. Thank y'all so much for all of the stickers. Thank y'all for the likes. Double tap that screen on your way out. Thank you for the sticker, Trust. I will be sure to see y'all in the next video tomorrow morning on the way into court. We'll chit chat about this and that, and I will definitely see you for the lunchtime update. Love is always love, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace, everybody.